Thursday morning, October 8th, and it looks like we might get a pretty early start today. It didn't really have much to do last night, and the sky is totally clear this morning. So we're currently deadheading across the field to kind of do a new patch up here. I maybe could cut across, but it's kind of easier on these rows that go back towards the driveway to just cut them where we can dump on the grain cart or the semi up by the driveway or closer to where it's going to go on the truck. I think probably we'll get a pretty early start. We'll kind of check the stems and pods when we get up here to the top of the hill. But as dry as everything was, I think that probably we're going to be able to run momentarily, if not right away. The dew would not really have hurt anything, to be honest, because these beans are really dry. And if there was some dew, they might pick up a little moisture that we could sell water instead of air. I mean, nothing in this case. But it is what it is. We're going to keep rolling and should be able to get this field finished, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. And then kind of see what happens, I guess. It looks like there's some chances of rain Sunday night, but not a real high likelihood. Things are moving forward. What can I say? Not even 10:30 in the morning, and the second dump is going on the grain cart. It might be a pretty productive day today. That's what I'm hoping, at least. Stopped in the middle of the field. Might have something going on, but I can't really tell. Been a few times today where something smelled a little bit hot, and I thought it was just with the wind direction, probably the wind blowing chaff onto the muffler. But I noticed it go in the opposite direction, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. The only thing I can find that's hot is this bearing on this idler pulley, which all it does is basically helps establish the tightness on this belt and drives the fan that sucks the dust out of the feeder house. I can't feel any play in it, but it's pretty warm. And I fear that there's a whole bunch of dirt packed in the backside, and that's where it's actually coming from. But I can't, like, I can smell something hot, and it seems to be in this general region, and that's the only thing I can find. A little bit concerned, because I don't want to burn up the combine. And I'm not 100% sure that that's where the problem is coming from. The reverser is a little bit warm also, but not warm enough that I think it should be causing problems. I don't know, I would say it's similarly warm to that plate, I guess. The stuff back here though, warm but not hot, so I don't think that's probably the source of the problem. Belt tension seems okay, so I don't think the belt's slipping. But we might have some bearings to replace here. I'm gonna have to keep a pretty close eye on that, I think. Might have changed my diagnosis. I think we might have something going on with one of the bearings on this fan, because it turns quite hard, quite a bit harder than it should. And my suspicion is that something ain't right there, and that's what's causing this stuff to get warm. Maybe, I don't know. But it seems like it's turning a lot harder than it should, so. And kind of jerky. So we got some investigating to do. If that's what the problem is, I can probably leave the belt off and run without it. Although that's going to be annoying with as much dust as there is going around today. Well, the expert arrived. Dad got back from taking the truck to town and sort of did a little bit further investigating, and it seems like, so the piece that you can see right in there is where that dust diverter fan is. And it seemed like this side was hot and the right side wasn't. So I think the problem is probably the bearing on that dust diverter fan. So we took the belt off of it. We're gonna try running and see if we smell anything getting hot anymore. Dad's gonna see if he can get a bearing chase down, because I don't have the truck full. I've got a ways to go before the truck's full. And hopefully change that out, but we're gonna find out exactly how much good that dust diverter fan does, because things are pretty dusty and I'm not gonna have one now. So it would appear that dust diverter fan makes quite a bit of difference. I don't know if I've taken any video from the cab this year, but normally there would not be a giant plume of what looks like smoke coming out of the feeder house, which is just dust coming off the beans. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to be that much of a problem though, because normally it shoots the dust all out on the ground, and then you can sort of get a giant cloud around the combine if the conditions are just right or wrong or whatever you want to say. So as long as I can mostly see the head, we're going to combine beans. So I made it back to the grain cart, just one more pass from where I had stopped to check out the fire smelt, and got out when we stopped here, and as far as I can tell, can't smell anything burning or getting hot anymore. So fairly certain that that bearing on the dust diverter is what the issue is. Dad called over to the local John Deere dealer, and it sounds like they have one. So he's gonna go get that, and I don't know that we're gonna necessarily shut down to put it on, but at least we'll have it to put on when we get a chance. Otherwise, gonna keep things rolling. The neighbor across the way showed up with 2 big John Deere combines and draper heads, so they're probably gonna make me look like a real put-up operation, but fortunately, corn and soybeans don't care how expensive a tractor they were planted with, nor does the elevator pay any more if it's combined with a brand new combine. So we'll get there. I think we got pretty full on this one. We're gonna check. There's still space there. 6:45, and we are continuing to hum along. Other than the dust plume coming out of the feeder house, things are going smoothly, and not really that big of a deal, to be honest. Probably it's better than having the diverter fan working at times and worse at times, but not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. If you're not familiar with John Deere combines of this era, the dust diverter fans were part of the 10 series update, so this is a 9510 model, and a 9500 would not have had that, so we're sort of a 9510 minus or 9509 or something, I guess, technically at this point, since that dust diverter fan is not working at the moment. Not the end of the world, still harvesting beans, not affecting the performance of the machine, just a convenience thing to not have to look through the dust and to be able to see your cutter bar better. Right now is when I can use that dust diverter fan. Basically when the wind is behind me, or breeze as it may be, I can't see squat. I haven't run over any terrace intakes yet, but stay tuned.